Good morning, eighth grade. Good afternoon. Depending on when you see this, you might have missed our initial Zoom recording. And in that case, I am so happy that you're logging into this and I can't wait to meet you face to face soon. And if you are watching this, but you did attend our Zoom meeting, you probably just need a refresher, which is completely fine. I'm so excited to have you. My name is Miss James, and welcome to eighth grade ELA. So, a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Ocean City, which is a little bit up the road. I actually attended Worcester County School System. I went to Decatur and I graduated with obviously my diploma. And I'm a lifelong learner at Salisbury University. I got my bachelor's degree in elementary education, but somehow fell in love with middle school. And I recently finished my master's in educational leadership. One day I aspire to become a principal or a supervisor at the board. Currently, this summer, I actually finished a target program for ESOL education, and I am back again this fall. I am starting a literacy certificate, so I'm constantly taking classes, and just like you, I'm eager to learn. So some of my favorite things, my favorite food is ice cream. My favorite food group is fats, oils, and sweets, which unfortunately causes a lot of trouble in my life. I obviously love the beach since I was born and raised in Ocean City. This summer I didn't work. Normally I wait tables at a little donut shop in Ocean City. I've been there for 15 years. I didn't work because I was taking my college courses, so I got to enjoy a lot of beach time, which was absolutely awesome. I really enjoy country music, but on the other side of the spectrum, I absolutely love hip hop music, so I really am all over the place when it comes to music. And more importantly, I want you guys to meet Paisley. She is my 14-year-old Basset Lab mix. She looks like a giant lab puppy. Like I said, she's 14 years old and she acts like she's a young dog. I enjoy her more than I do anybody else. Ask them. My family knows it and they're okay with it because they like her more than me too, so it's okay. So again, welcome to ELA. I want to talk a little bit about what ELA is. I don't know if anybody's ever really explained it to you. And you're probably asking me, seriously, do we really have to go into this? But again, it is really important. So ELA stands for English Language Arts. So what exactly does that mean? ELA is made up of reading, writing, language, speaking, and listening. So it's not just reading, it's not just writing, it's all of these facets that are working together to make you better and stronger learners. I actually went to school to teach math and science and wound up in ELA, and I'm so excited that I did because with ELA you get to do so much with it and it helps you in all of your classes. Reading, writing, language, speaking, listening helps you in social studies when you're discussing things with your class, when you're reading pieces of text, when you're writing about primary sources, you're speaking about those sources. All of this helps you in science as well when you're talking with your groups through a lab. That's speaking, that's listening. When you're writing your CERs, what we do in here will help you in there. And even in math, you have to read word problems. You have to listen to your teacher. You have to speak with your peers about the math problems that you're looking at. So ELA helps you in all of the subjects, and that's why I fell in love with it. So if you were in class, you know that we've already talked about why these are important, but if you weren't attending our Zoom meeting, I want you to take a minute to think about why these are important outside of the classroom. Why might you need reading, writing, speaking, listening, language outside of school? So just take a minute to think about that. And I'm going to give you a few seconds. And if you need more time, you can, of course, pause the recording. It should be at the bottom of your screen. But again, I'm going to give you a few seconds on here. And if you need more time, utilize that pause feature. So hopefully you were able to come up with a few ideas. I know personally, when I was in college, obviously those things carried into the other courses that I went into. I know I told you guys I wait tables, and speaking and listening is something that I have to do constantly when I'm waiting tables. You have to listen to customers' orders, so on and so forth. For those of you who are thinking that college probably isn't the way that you want to go, which is completely fine, when you go into a trade, you have to be able to speak and listen to your boss, your peers, your collaborative groups. You need to know words. You need to be able to communicate them effectively. You need to be able to understand, the language that you're speaking. When you're, in your job, in your trade, when you're with your peers, when you're applying for jobs, it's important to be able to write. You have to write about why you are the best person for that job. And you guys read every single day. Your text messages, you're reading every single day. So, all of this is very important in the real world along with in classes. So one of my favorite sayings is by Albert Einstein, and it's everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. So what do you guys think this means? You've got a fish and you've got a tree, two completely unrelated items. So what does a fish have to do with a tree? Think about that for a minute. And again, if you need more time, utilize that pause button, but I am going to give you a few seconds. Fish, tree. So, a fish obviously lives in the ocean, and you guys probably already know that it doesn't climb trees very often because you don't really see trees in the ocean, okay? If we were to judge a fish using the same criteria as, say, a bird, something that does live in a tree, on its ability to be smart, the fish obviously would fail significantly, and vice versa. If we said that in order to be smart, you had to be able to swim very well, that bird might not do as well. It might consider itself dumb. Well, the same thing applies to people. Just because I have my degrees in education, okay? If we were to say that in order to be smart, you had to have a degree in teaching, does that mean that everybody who doesn't have a degree in teaching isn't smart? Of course not. That would be completely ridiculous. Everyone is smart in their own ways, and I want you guys to know that you are smart in your own way. Some of you might be really, really strong in reading, writing, listening, speaking, language, all 5 of those things. And that's absolutely amazing. And this class might be your niche. Some of you might be really strong in reading, but you might not be as strong in writing. But your speaking and listening skills are out of this world. And that's awesome too. Some of you might not be strong in any of those, but when it comes to math, you're absolutely amazing. And that's phenomenal. Some of you might think that all of this doesn't apply to you, and you are gifted in creativity, and you can build anything that you put your hands on, and that's absolutely amazing. We are all smart in our own ways, and I want you to know that in this classroom, we're going to capitalize on those strengths. So if you're starting to panic because you saw those words, reading, writing, language, speaking, listening, you're like, oh my goodness, I don't think any of that applies to me. It's going to be okay. I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. And we're going to be able to let you capitalize on what you do love. So I do have a video for you guys that I want you to watch. And as you're watching, I want you to think about what this young man is talking about. This is actually an example of what we call slam poetry. And he uses that everybody is a genius and the fish example to kind of talk about the modern day school system. So it's about 5 minutes. If you need to take a break, go ahead and click pause, run to the bathroom, get some water. But I'm going to go ahead and start it now if you don't need a break. But again, you do have the pause button if you need it.
Albert Einstein once said, everybody's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today on trial we have modern day schooling. Glad you could come. Not only does he make fish climb trees, but also makes them climb down. and do a 10-mile run. Tell me, school, are you proud of the things you've done? Turning millions of people into robots, do you find that fun? Do you realize how many kids relate to that fish swimming upstream in class, never finding their gifts, thinking they are stupid, believing they are useless? Well, the time has come, no more excuses. I call school to the stand and accuse him of killing creativity, individuality, and being intellectually abusive. He's an ancient institution that has outlived his usage. So, Your Honor, this concludes my opening statement, and if I may present the evidence of my case, I will prove it.
Proceed.
Exhibit A. Here's a modern-day phone. Recognize it? Here's a phone from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Stay with me. Here's a car from today, and here's a car from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Well, get this. Here's a classroom of today, and here's a class we used 150 years ago. Now, ain't that a shame? In literally more than a century, nothing has changed. Yet you claim to prepare students for the future? But with evidence like that, I must ask, do you prepare students for the future or the past? I did a background check on you and let the record show that you were made to train people to work in factories, which explains why you put students in straight rows, nice and neat, tell them sit still, raise your hand if you want to speak, give them a short break to eat, and for 8 hours a day, tell them what to think. Oh, and make them compete to get an A. A letter which determines product quality, hence grade A of meat. I get it. Back then, times were different. We all have a past. I myself am no Gandhi. But today, we don't need to make robot zombies. The world has progressed. And now we need people who think creatively, innovatively, critically, independently, with the ability to connect. See, every scientist will tell you that no two brains are the same. And every parent with 2 or more children will confirm that claim. So please explain why you treat students like cookie cutter frames or snapback hats, giving them this one-size-fits-all crap.
What's your language?
Sorry, Your Honor, but if a doctor prescribed the exact same medicine to all of his patients, the results will be tragic. So many people will get sick, yet when it comes to school, this is exactly what happens. This educational malpractice, where one teacher stands in front of 20 kids, each one having different strengths, different needs, different gifts, different dreams, and you teach the same thing the same way? That's horrific. Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant should not be acquitted. This may be one of the worst criminal offenses ever to be committed. And let's mention the way you treat your employees.
Objection. Overruled. I want to hear this.
It's a shame. I mean, teachers have the most important job on the planet, yet they're underpaid? No wonder so many students are shortchanged. Let's be honest. Teachers should earn just as much as doctors, because a doctor can do heart surgery and save the life of a kid. But a great teacher can reach the heart of that kid and allow him to truly live. See, teachers are heroes that often get blamed, but they're not the problem. They work in a system without many options or rights. Curriculums are created by policymakers, most of which have never taught a day in their life. Just obsessed with standardized tests. They think bubbling in a multiple choice question will determine success. That's outlandish. In fact, these tests are too crude to be used and should be abandoned, but don't take my word for it. Take Frederick J. Kelly, the man who invented standardized testing, who said, and I quote, "These tests are too crude to be used and should be abandoned." Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if we continue down this road, the results will be lethal. I don't have much faith in school, but I do have faith in people. And if we can customize healthcare, cars, and Facebook pages, then it is our duty to do the same for education, to upgrade and change and do away with school spirit, because that's useless. Unless we're working to bring the spirit out of each and every student, that should be our task. No more Common Core. Instead, let's reach the core of every heart in every class. Sure, math is important, but no more than art or dance. Let's give every gift an equal chance. I know this sounds like a dream, but countries like Finland are doing impressive things. They have shorter school days, teachers make a decent wage, homework is non-existent, and they focus on collaboration instead of competition. But here's the kicker, boys and girls. Their educational system outperforms every other country in the world. Other places like Singapore are succeeding rapidly. Schools like Montessori, programs like Khan Academy, there is no single solution. But let's get moving, because while students may be 20% of our population, they are 100% of our future. So let's attend to their dreams, and there's no telling what we can achieve. This is a world in which I believe, a world where fish are no longer forced to climb trees. I'll rest my case.
powerful stuff right there, huh? So, what I want to ask you guys is if you've ever felt like that fish in that bowl, in that classroom. And think about it. Have you ever felt like that fish? One that was being compared to everybody else in the class, but you know you are so much different and you're capable of different things than everybody else around you. I know I have. In high school and middle school, I actually hated ELA, and now I'm teaching it, right? I absolutely hated it. It was boring. None of my teachers made it engaging for me. So we are going to use Pearson that you guys are familiar with from last year, but we're going to try to mix in things like art and technology and those other things that you guys are passionate about and that you love, so that you don't ever feel like that fish. Now, there are going to be some times, that we have to grind through and get through some things, but I want you to know that we're going to try to make this so that you don't feel like the fish. So my mission, Miss James ELA class, is going to be a respectful classroom, and it's established in that foundation of building excellence in ELA, that reading, that writing, that language, speaking and listening, through academic, behavioral, and social success. It's going to be challenging, but it is going to be rewarding. I can guarantee it. So enough about me. Now it's time to tell your story. So one of my absolute favorite authors and people on the planet is Jason Reynolds. He's right here. You guys may have heard of him. We are going to use him for one of our author spotlights, hopefully when you guys are all back in the classroom, so we can really enjoy his work. But over the summer, he developed a Write program through Twitter while people were still in quarantine. And it's an opportunity for students to become creative and to tell their stories. So part of it, obviously, is writing, like ELA. And then there's this other part, and, the other version of write, which is, being correct. And he said that there's no way to do that if you are being yourself, which I absolutely loved. And then he also mentioned this idea of writing however you see correct, a rite of passage, or something that happens in your life, a milestone. So we're actually going to do one of the activities that he presented to kids all over the country. What I'd really love to do is share our work with him via Twitter and see if he responds. So this is his activity that he wants you guys to participate in. It was the last one for August, so he is referring to the summertime, but just pretend it's the end of August still, and you aren't in school.
Good day. How are you? I'm good, and I hope you are too. This is Jason Reynolds, and welcome back to another episode of the Right, where we stretch ourselves and our imaginations and create new ways to express ourselves however we want to, right? That's what this whole thing is about. I hope y'all been good, been riding with me for a while now, so we should all be loosened up. We know what we're doing, flexing our muscles when it comes to this thing and expressing ourselves however we choose. Here's what I've been thinking about. I love newspaper headlines. Not because they're good, because they almost never are, right? It's like, 3 injured in a car crash, oof, right? Or, big storm hits DC, right? Or whatever it is. I don't really like what they're talking about, but I do like the way that they're written, and it's really interesting. Only a few words to tell this, to sort of prep this whole story. I really like that, right? Michael Jordan wins 6th championship, right? It's like just boop, 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 right? Couple of words. Super cool. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write a headline about your day, which means that you can't be too many words. Just, like right now, you all aren't in class anymore because it's summertime. But if you were still in school, it would be teacher asks student to write story, right? That's it. And I think it's super cool. Or maybe for me, it'd be like, man sits alone in front of yellow wall, right, for hours. Or man stares at computer with no words. Man can't think of anything to write, Whatever. Think it's just something super cool. Just using 6 words max. So that's the limit. 6 words to talk about your day, or even 6 words to talk about your life. If you could sum up your life in a 6-word headline in the newspaper, what would it be? Or your day, or your week, or your family, right? And it'll be super cool. And what it'll teach you is just how to use the words that matter. Only the words that count, which is the basis of poetry and honestly the basis of any good writing. Just the words that matter. All right, good luck with that one. I hope it goes well. It'll be a little challenging maybe, but it'll be fun. I'll talk to y'all soon. And also, if you need a newspaper, your uncle reads a newspaper every single day. Tell him that you borrow one. All right, peace.
All right, so at this time, I'm going to have you guys actually create your 6-word headline. Remember, as Mr. Reynolds said, no more than 6 words, no less than 6 words. And it needs to tell your story. It can be something that you did today. It can be about you. It can be as serious, silly as you want it to be, as long as it is appropriate and as long as it's about you. So I'm going to give you 15 minutes to create yours on your own. If you need another break, take this time. Remember to pause on the bottom of the screen. But I'm going to go ahead and keep rolling, but take 15 minutes to go ahead and create that headline. So if you were in class, we had an opportunity to share. Obviously, if you're at home, you can share to your dog, your cat, your grandma, grandpa, sister, siblings. Go ahead and take time to share. But now we're going to actually build on that, okay? And this is where I'm going to kind of lead you guys. You're going to create a slide that tells your story using your 6-word headline as the title. Your slide is going to include the title itself, that 6-word headline. It needs to have your name, it needs to have a picture of yourself, or if you don't want to have a picture of you, just something that's important to you. If you're attached to this, you can take a picture of your phone. If you are really into, food, you can take a picture of an apple. It doesn't matter as long as it applies to you. And then I want 3 non-interesting facts about yourself. It can be something that you did today. It can really be anything, again, as long as it's appropriate. And what you're going to do, I've pre-made a slideshow. It's for the entire 8th grade. So Ms. Russo's class is doing this as well. And you can see all of your peers' work. You're going to select a pre-made slide from the PowerPoint and just put your information in. So before you get started, I want to show you my example so you have an idea of what this is going to look like. And then I'll show you how to access the slide in Schoology. So this is about me. And you'll see this in the PowerPoint slide. All of your teachers have made one as well. So my 6-word headline is teacher admits preferring dogs over people. Because sorry, I do. I like dogs more than people. Dogs are nice for the most part. And the only reason why they're mean is because people made them mean. And I have a picture of myself with Paisley, of course, because you guys know that I'm literally obsessed. Don't mind my dad in the back. He had his old gray hair before I shaved his head during quarantine. This was over Mother's Day before the boardwalk got crazy. So he looks a little elderly there. So don't mind him. And then my 3 non-interesting facts are that my favorite author is Jason Reynolds. I'm obsessed with Flair pens. Literally, I absolutely love them. I have some here. There's some in this drawer. And I have backup packs. I absolutely love them. And when I grow up, I want to own my own little boutique business because I absolutely love clothes. So this is my example. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to Schoology, and I am going to show you what our course looks like and where to find all of the work for today. So when you get on to, I'm on 1-2s, but 5-6 is exactly the same. When you get on, there's going to be a little welcome page. It tells you about ELA and when we meet, and it has our school hashtag, Let's Roll, because y'all, let's be real, we have no idea what this year's going to hold, so we're just rolling with it. My contact information, your schedule. Down here is our daily Zoom meeting link. You just click it and you access if you're able to join with us tomorrow. There's some other links here, and then when you scroll to the very bottom, you'll see this week's assignments, and right here you'll click on today. When this video is finished, there will be a little link to it, and it tells you everything that you need to do today. You're going to obviously participate in the lesson. You're watching this, or you've already done the Zoom, so that's good. And then you're going to complete the 8th grade headlines assignment, which is your Jason Reynolds newspaper, and I'll click that in a second. There's a syllabus that I'd like you to read, and then there's a parent communication form that I would like for you to fill out with your parents or with them in mind. So you're going to go ahead and click on the 8th grade headlines assignment. It's got the Jason Reynolds video for you there again. It's got your task, which we already went over. It has all the criteria, has my success criteria example for you, and then you're actually going to click the link and it will take you to the shared document. Fingers crossed. If you have any trouble, please do not hesitate to reach out. Shoot me a text through Remind, message me on Schoology. I'm by my computer all day. So you'll see some of your teachers have already filled some of these out and they look awesome. So you're going to click on an empty one and it tells you where to put all of your information. You fill it in, it saves automatically, and once you're done, you're done. You just exit out and then move on, as we had mentioned, to the rest of the assignments for the day. So reading the syllabus and then completing that communication form, and then you're all finished for me. So like I had mentioned, I'm super excited to see you guys and meet you. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I can't wait to read about you. See ya.